names on this one. I mean, you guys did mention that fire that was burning down in Big Sur, and we had one that was burning up near the geysers, both of which are getting under control. If we come back to the weather that we all experienced here, it was 76 degrees today in Santa Rosa, 4 degrees shy of 80 degrees in the middle of January. 77 is the record, so we just missed it by 1 degree, and it was about 14 degrees above average. So that has everything to do with the winds, because these were offshore winds. And as they came over the mountains in the North Bay and then went down slope on the Santa Rosa side, they warmed up. And it made a big difference in the way it felt out there. Granted, you couldn't get out and enjoy that 76-degree day because it was so darn windy. But the winds are starting to calm down now. Look at the current number. It's still 70 in Santa Rosa. Meanwhile, it's 64 in San Jose. It's 57 in Livermore, where you did not have the influence of downsloping winds. You still had wind today, but they weren't downslope on the other side of the mountain range. Let's just talk about how these winds played out today. How did we get such an extreme wind event? If you look at the last 24 hours on satellite, you would miss it completely. You wouldn't even be able to see it. But if we switch over to water vapor, watch right here, and you're going to see a counterclockwise spin go right down the east border of the state. That's one of those troubling inside sliders. We get a lot of them in the fall and the spring. And the kind of offshore wind event that we just had overnight is much more of a fall or spring event. Not to say they can't happen in the middle of winter. One just did. And if we highlight that center, you can see how it's really pushing those winds in behind it. And by superimposing what those actual offshore winds look like now, you can see how fast they are as they speed up and over the North Bay Mountains. This is why the North Bay Mountains are always the primary concern when we get offshore wind events like this. They really intensify those winds over the ridgetops, like we saw with that 94-mile-an-hour wind gust that were highlighted at the top of the newscast. So what happens next? For most of us, the winds are already starting to calm down, but once the sun finally sets and we remove that one final ingredient, we get rid of that final little element of the energy here, then the winds really start to calm down, even in the mountains. And you can see they turn off completely. We're not going to have another repeat tonight or tomorrow or at any point in the next 7 days. There are no more inside sliders like that. No more wind events like the one we just had, thankfully. Morning lows go down pretty much to normal, and daytime highs tomorrow will also be, they'll still be warm. They won't be as warm as today. They'll be a little more in line with what's more typical for this time of year. And now we just go back to that ho-hum pattern. Sunny skies and daytime highs that just sit right here in the mid to upper 60s for San Jose for the next 7 days, low to mid 60s for Oakland, same story for San Francisco. And when we look at our microclimates, that middle line there, those warm North Bay valleys, after 67 today, you'll be in the mid 60s for the next few days.